Christ, you knock like the police.
Old Adrian here?
What are you, a bill collector? No, he's not here.
No, not a bill collector.
You delivering a pizza? No, he's not here.
No, not delivering anything.
What are you, a Mormon?
No, I got Jesus already. I don't need any more.
He's not here.
No,
Leave.
no.
Get lost.
Looking for old Adrian.
Wait. Were you gonna kill him?
Something like that.
Yeah, come on. I got you. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we're here with you for this week's review, but this time it is a short story.
Ernest Hemingway, The Killers.
Fatal.
When we first started this channel, we did a lot of Hemingway.
We did.
And people were like, all they do is Hemingway.
Stop.
So we got away from it, but we're back because it's worthy. It is worthy of reading. It is worthy of talking about. Hemingway.
We have yet to do a Hemingway novel. We have only done short stories. Eventually, we'll work our way through all of this and his novels.
I sincerely hope so.
You can eat it.
Adrian.
Yes.
3 good things, 3 bad things. Ernest Hemingway's The Killers.
3 good things. This is very fast.
It is. It is fast read.
This is a lot of characterization in a very short time.
Okay.
And the tension in this is palpable.
Okay. You can put this with any Hemingway short story, but it always has to be said, beautiful dialogue. The man is a master of dialogue. Not the normal Hemingway that you would expect to read. I think Al and Max are a little more vaudevillain, and it's not normal Hemingway.
Right.
We'll get there. Everything happens in this short story. Everything. It comes full circle. It's perfect. Bad things.
My first bad thing was this is sort of ham-fisted. You said that this is not your normal Hemingway. It feels like Hemingway trying to write Hemingway at some points, right?
Okay.
Because of that, the tough guy is hard to get through. There's all this tough guy going on. Which those two things combined mean if you aren't looking close enough, you're going to miss everything that actually happens.
All right. Oh, you want me to just... Oh, okay.
That was the plan.
Naming the characters. Most Hemingway short stories that I've read, unless they are specifically about a character, don't name the characters. We did Hills Like White Elephants. We did A Clean Well,
Lighted
Place. I don't like the name Al and Max. Okay. I can't associate anyone with these characters now because they've become characters, and I think that's something of Hemingway that I've always enjoyed. It's a little too over the top with those 2 characters.
Okay.
It almost seems humorous where it shouldn't be.
Right.
And I said, everything happens in this piece and it's wonderful. My last bad thing is nothing happens in this piece.
I think you just tried to copy me there.
No.
I think you just tried to copy
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Everything and nothing. So I'm Adrian Fort. Let's continue on this conversation. Do you have a favorite quote from this?
I do. In the complete short stories of Ernest Hemingway,
How can you go wrong?
put together by Scribner, this quote comes on page 221. Couldn't you fix it up? So this is when our boy, what's his name? Gosh dang it. The main character. I'm blanking on his name. Nick Adams. Nick Adams goes to Ole Anderson as he's laying in bed. Couldn't you fix it up some way? No. I got in wrong. He talked in the same flat voice. There ain't anything to do. After a while, I'll make it up in my mind and go out. Did you have one?
Do you need another one? I mean, honestly.
That is the short story, isn't it?
That is it. And you say Nick is the main character, yes.
Yeah.
But the story's about Ole Anderson.
Yeah.
And I think he's a much more interesting character than Nick.
Ole Anderson is the lion in the tall grass.
Yes, and we say that in every Hemingway story, there is a lion in the tall grass. But Ole Anderson is the most intriguing character in this, hand over fist. Because we know nothing about him, but we know everything about him.
I like Sam.
Really?
Sam the cook. I think that Sam, there's a lot going on here, and Sam is referred to as the N-word a lot, and there's a pretty good case that you could make out of this that Hemingway is racist.
Yes.
I see it the exact opposite way. There's a part where Sam says, George is talking to Nick, and George says, "Listen," George said to Nick, "you better go see old Anderson." And Sam says, "You better not have anything to do with it at all," Sam the cook said. Now, I will bring up that Sam is only referred to as the N-word when Al and Max are in the diner.
Okay.
Al and Max are obviously racist.
Okay.
And there's some other things I'll go into there. But you have to understand that Nick and George, they're the white guys, right? They're going to stand up to this evil and they're going to go do something.
Okay.
Sam knows better. Hemingway is a man that has been to war. He knows that sometimes the only weapon that you have for survival is compliance.
Okay.
Sam in the story seems to understand that. The only weapon that they have for survival is compliance. You do exactly as these guys say. They got guns. They got sawed off, right?
All right.
So you go with it.
I can give you that. And being placed in that situation, I think me personally would be a Sam. If two men came into my diner with guns, I'm like, hey, whatever you need.
Did you want a sandwich?
May I get you something? Okay, I'll go with that one. Now, we talked about racism in this, and is Hemingway racist? I say absolutely not. Whether Hemingway was racist or not, this piece does not reflect that.
Right.
This is a picture of that time, which is, again, not something we normally get with Hemingway. We always talk about how this could be placed anywhere. Hills Like White Elephants could be just a conversation that happened 10 minutes ago. A clean, well-lighted place happened 10 minutes ago, 20 years ago. This is a picture in time. The classic diner, the gangster characters, the racist of the cook, the racist tones from towards the cook. This is different than what we normally get with Hemingway.
Here's why I would disagree with that.
Okay.
It is not simply the racist tones towards the cook. Max and Al step in, and they are the two men.
All right.
The two men stepped in, I believe, is the exact phrasing there. This is about divide and conquer as much as anything. Because another one of the things they say is that little joke about you were in a kosher convent. We're pretty sure Max and Al weren't Jewish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I won't say for sure.
Well,
I won't say for sure. There could be a lot of things, but I'm pretty sure that you're using the word kosher there as an insult. Ah, you Jew, you dirty Jew.
I've never heard that before.
Right. You were in a Jewish convent. So and then they use the N-word towards Sam. I think they call Ole Anderson the Swede, don't they?
Yes.
So they are very racist. They are about dividing and conquering. As long as they are racist towards Sam, they are delineating Sam from George and Nick.
And it's a form of power.
Right. What else is it doing? It's imbuing a sense of power on Nick and George above Sam.
Okay.
So that they can't lean on Sam for understanding.
Okay.
They can't lean on Sam for anything else. They even use it as a divisive nature between the two of them. And as long as, here's the thing, white privilege, right? That is a term which is going to make anyone's hair bristle now because of A, what it really means, and B, what it has been misconstrued to mean.
Okay.
Right? So there is such a charge there. However, white privilege is what's on display here, in that these white guys are imbuing power upon other white guys simply because they're white. They're still not us, right?
Right.
So as long as you're not connected with that character and you don't want anything to do with the Swede, you're just a regular type of white.
Just a good old boy.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Right? You're a bright boy.
All right. Now, what do you think about the characters of Al and Max? I don't like them. Those are not the characters I want in my Hemingway piece.
You don't like them in your Hemingway piece, or you don't like them as characters?
I think they're acceptable characters, but I don't want them in my Hemingway piece. I think they're a little over the top, unnecessarily so. And they seem to be just almost a cardboard cutout, stereotypical gangster.
I think that you can read it that way.
Okay.
I think that you can also look like with the race thing. I think you can look deeper, and there's things going on with these characters.
Okay.
And what are they? If they're not, they are tough guy, right? But they're not the ultimate tough guy, are they? They're going to sit and wait for their prey.
Okay.
They're not out hunting. They set their trap, they built their web, and they're waiting for that fly to come in.
And it is read that they're there for a job.
Yeah.
That it's business.
It's for a friend.
It's business. And that does take away a little bit of their power, and they're the goons.
Does it take away their power, though? It might take away authority without taking away power.
Okay, authority without power, we'll go that route. The way I read it is it's the two gangsters come in, they sit at the diner, they start joking with each other. It's a very tense moment, and I'm assuming the purpose of that is to take away from the tension, is to make it more palpable, if that makes sense. But it's that Snidely Whiplash thing. I just see the gangsters coming in, and they're sitting at the diner, and they're going to shoot the place up, and they're going to get old Anderson.
But they don't.
But they don't, and that's fine. But that's the stereotype that I associate with that. And maybe that's just my personal reading. We've talked a lot about how Hemingway can mean different things to different people at different times. That's the way I get this piece, and maybe that's why I'm not a huge fan of The Killers.
I think it's easy not to be a fan of The Killers because, like you say, there's so many things that seem ham-fisted in the piece.
Okay.
But I think that there's a subtle type of reserve on display here. These guys don't go shooting, do they?
No.
They tie people up and they leave them there. They don't go hunting Ole Anderson, do they? They just leave the diner. Ole Anderson is remiss about his death, isn't he? He doesn't go out clobbering anybody.
No.
When Nick gets to his apartment, are there holes in the wall?
No.
He's just laying there staring at the wall.
And I think that's why Ole Anderson's my favorite character in this. Because this is your Hemingway man's man. Because it's when a man comes around. He's just going to go face his demise. He's got what's coming to him. And there's no remorse. There's no sadness, second thought, or anything. This is the man going to war. What happens, happens. I'm going in. I like that. I like Ole Anderson for that reason.
I think there's more to go on there as well.
You think so?
Well, what's the Summit is the town they're in. Mm-hmm. It's so homogenous, right, and so white that Nick and George don't know how to delineate the two men. They just know they're different.
Okay.
But they're sort of the same. They're white guys.
All right.
Sam knows how to delineate, and you can see this. There's a tense piece where. I can't remember exactly what's going on. They're getting ready to tie everybody up, and Nick, well, what's going to happen to us? What are you going to do to Ole Anderson? And George is saying, well, I don't think we can get tied up. I don't think you want to do that. And Sam says, yes, sir. Again, okay. Sam has that understanding.
He does. And so what I think you're getting at here is, for you, the best character is Sam.
For me, sure. Well, I don't know. Ole Anderson, the best character in the story of this is Sam for me.
Okay.
One of my favorite characters in the canon of Hemingway is Ole Anderson.
All right.
And I wish we had more of him. I think that Ole Anderson is transcendent of the piece. Sam is very indicative of the piece.
Okay. And that's a really good way of putting it. I think knowing more about Ole Anderson would be a short story in its own. And a wonderful one at that.
I will put this in your terms. Ole Anderson is Harry Potter.
Oh, God.
Sam is Hermione. I think there's a lot of interesting things going on with Hermione within at least that very first Harry Potter that we're reading.
Okay.
I think that Ole Anderson is Harry Potter because he transcends the piece and there is a mythos about him.
Can we have a moment?
No.
Just a moment,
Move
please.
On. I'm trying to speak in your terms.
You just compared Ernest Hemingway to Harry Potter. I have affected your life for the better.
Well, no, I wouldn't say
you are a well-rounded man now. Look at that. Look at you go.
You are a realm-rounded man.
You are a man's man, Ole Anderson.
Listen to the excitement in his voice as I make a Harry Potter reference. I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
I want you to know 95% of our subscribers know what we're talking about now because you... Oh my. Okay, so comparing this to other Hemingways, where does it fit for you? Because I've made it very clear this is not my favorite.
This has to be seen among the canon of Hemingway's best.
Now this is one that, this is freshman lit in college, 101.
Absolutely.
You're reading The Killers. This is short stories, you're reading The Killers. It doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't.
Do you think that's part of what killed it for you?
And maybe that's what it is. But on that same note, Hills Like White Elephants. Freshman lit. First time I read it, didn't like it. But once I reread it, I loved it. Please see link above to our review of Hills Like White Elephants. But for this one, I've read it before, I didn't enjoy it. I've read it again, I didn't enjoy it. I've read it again, I didn't enjoy it. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
Well, expound upon. I don't know what I'm saying right now. What is it that you didn't like?
It's not Hemingway to me.
How is it not him? You got to put that in words for me.
And maybe it's the characters Alan Max. It's their over-the-top nature, the way I'm perceiving them when I read them.
Have you read any Hemingway novels?
For which one have I read? For the Spanish War. Is it For Whom the Bell Tolls?
Yeah, I haven't read that one.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of that in Hemingway. Alan Max are just that plus a little swagger. And he even says swagger in here, which anybody who thinks the term swagger is new, even Hemingway used it back in the day.
We should get that trending.
Yeah.
Yeah, real swagger.
Him swag.
Him swag. Hashtag him swag.
But that is not something that is unique to this story. It is simply bumped up a little bit in this story. And I think it's mainly because of the setting. I don't think that those characters would stand out in the greater Hemingway.
Okay.
If you put them in a lot of other stories, they're just other guys.
Okay, and maybe that's it. And I keep focusing on those two characters because those are the two that I don't like. And I've tried to come up with reasons why I don't like them, the vaudeville aspect of them, over the top, the fact that they're named, maybe that's my issue with them.
That is a weird criticism.
That is not a weird criticism. All the great Hemingway characters from the short stories that we have covered in this channel are unnamed.
Well, his greatest character, Nick Adams, has a name. Your favorite character in the story, Ole Anderson,
has a name. But here's my thing. Clean, well-lighted place. Hills Like White Elephants. They don't have names.
Okay.
Besides Jib, Jick, whatever her name, Jick. You associate your own thoughts upon those characters because you have nothing to go with it. Just the man. And that's a comfortable Hemingway read for me. That's what I expect from Hemingway. When I get Alan Max, this is what they are. They're characters to me, they're not real.
Okay, so when they are not named, but they are characters, you are inflecting upon them, right?
I think so.
You are transferring on them. Who, in the life of Dalton, would Max and Al be if they simply did not have names?
I have no idea. Besides, again, just stereotypical thugs.
Okay, well...
I don't like Alan Max. That is my issue.
Does that stand to further your enjoyment of the story if they are stereotypical thugs?
I think yes. I think yes. It's ridiculous, I know, but that's what bothers me more than anything. Those two characters, there's something about them. Please agree with me if you do.
You're making me very uncomfortable right now.
Those two characters, I don't enjoy them. They hurt this piece for me.
You cannot enjoy them without them hurt. You're not supposed to like them.
I'm not supposed to like them.
They are the characters who are in the least amount of story, save for Ole Anderson. And their role, their amount of lines, their amount of page time might be comparable to Ole Anderson.
And maybe it's just the fact that it's a duo, and they're playing off of each other a lot.
Like us.
Like us. I don't... Narcissism at its finest.
We are Max and Al.
Oh, God. Maybe
I'm
if
the
it's
better looking man.
maybe it's the single person who comes in, sits at the diner, cool, calm, and collected, the cold-hearted killer. Maybe that would have made it more Hemingway for me.
But would it have been as interesting? Would it have been as readable?
I don't think you would have lost as much. Because if you take away the dialogue from a duo, you would add dialogue for Sam, you would add dialogue for Nick, for George, maybe give Old Anderson a little bit more, because you're not relying on that comedic dialogue between Al and Max. It makes it darker, it makes it colder, and it makes it more Hemingway for me.
But what is colder than a man willing to joke before he plugs somebody?
You have a point there.
I mean, these guys...
It's business.
It's overshadowed because they don't get there. But these guys are ready and willing.
Yes.
As soon as Ole Anderson comes in that place, and here's the thing, you've got to think about as well. They've got a double barrel and another gun.
Yes.
Do you think they're simply going to shoot Ole Anderson?
Probably not.
Something sinister is going to happen.
Yes. And that is something that it does make this, I'm not saying this is bad. It's not my favorite. But that sinister nature of this does make this a wonderful story. Because you have to come up with what's going to happen next. That's on you. However dark your mind gets, maybe Ole Anderson comes in guns a-blazing, you want to have a Western shootout, however you want to associate this piece, that's on you. And that's good. That's good writing. I like that. So, what are you thinking with this? Anything else, any other aspects you want to go?
I think it does say something about Ole Anderson, that 2 assassins were sent after him.
I think Ole Anderson, there's a lot more to him than we see.
Yep.
I mean, all we get of him is just laying back. It's like, all right, when the man comes around.
No, Dalton, when the men come around.
When the men come around.
He knows it's more than one.
That's ballsy. There's a lot to Ole Anderson. He's done something. I agree with you. That's a really good thought.
Well, I think that the the easy theory is that he was supposed to throw a fight and did not. He is a boxer. They know him as the Swede, the boxer.
Okay.
So the thought is that he was supposed to throw a fight, did not, got out of the place with his money, and or with his pride instead of his money.
Okay.
And he's going to lose his life because of it.
But if there's 2 men going to get him, it's not just one guy, just go get him.
Right.
We're sending 2.
Yeah. Which
Ole
means
Anderson,
either something very sinister
yes.
is going to happen, or Ole Anderson might get over on the just one guy.
All right.
Okay?
Okay. I don't know what else to say about
Did you have
this.
a suggestion based on this?
No, I refuse to suggest anything because I'm sure whatever suggestion I take for this, you will turn and try to kill me.
I would say if you enjoyed this by Hemingway, read The 3-Day Blow by Hemingway, because it is the exact opposite of this.
Really? Now, I haven't read that one. I think I'd like to.
It is the exact opposite of this. I mean, I cannot illustrate how opposite of this it is simply in a recommendation platform. Like, if we had a whole video just for that, I could do it. But it's a short read. If you can get through this, you can get through The 3-Day Blow. It's going to take you a couple readings to get really what The 3-Day Blow is about, but you'll get there.
Because this is Hemingway, something just popped in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to say this. It's going to piss Adrian off. I can't do it because it would insult Hemingway. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's a fine recommendation.
You just didn't come up with a recommendation.
If you want to read the story of some people going off to kill somebody and nothing really ever happens, you should check out The Gunslinger by Stephen King.
You son of a...
See? That's why I didn't say it. What would you give this?
I would give this 88 fedoras out of 100.
88 fedoras out of 100. 82.
82?
82 Tommy guns.
So you liked this more than you liked The Martian?
Yes. I'm not saying this is bad. You cannot take a Hemingway piece and say it's bad. Prove me wrong on that one. But it's not my favorite Hemingway.
Okay.
By a long shot.
It's still better than The Martian.
Yes, absolutely.
You didn't want to read this. You did want to read The Martian. You would rather invest 435 pages of reading in a novel that you gave a 72? 77?
We have to expand. We cannot just do always Hemingway. We've tried to expand a little bit.
Why not?
We should just do a Hemingway series. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, well,
we should
work
do
on
that. Big Papa's, short story hour. Anyway, if you like hearing about Hemingway, if you like hearing about our only poplet we ever read, The Martian, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please make sure Adrian doesn't kill me.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter @StripCover. Make sure you follow us on Facebook @StripCoverLit.